Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to do a regular as market scan. I can trade again because we've entered the month of June. Keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, these are my least profitable months, June, July, especially. But we're going to do market scans regardless. Check out what's going on. So, nothing relevant here. 4 days into his tenure as acting head of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Russell Watt has Watt got an email from an old colleague. Hey Russ, I hope all is well, blah blah. Amidst the bureaucracy ass kicking. So why can I read this though? It's usually locked. So these are leaked emails, but that I was not interested in that. Under prior regime, they got bullied into an overreaching consent order. Let's put record. No, that's not what I'm interested in. I don't have a regulations explain video, do I? No, but this is quite relevant for us. See, this is BBC. They're going to say it's like straight Satanism, whatever he's doing, but okay, that's super interesting. What Trump is doing here is he's overturning a lot of regulations. You can't take BBC seriously, though. None of these. The amount of regulations the US has is enormous in terms of the cost. And the US has an average price effective regulatory burden of something like, I believe it is, let me check it actually, regulatory burden price. Let's check that out. So it costs about $3 trillion to the economy annually. 2 trillion, sorry, here. Yeah, it's a hidden tax. I've talked about that before. That's what regulations are because they're just passed on to employment. Because it explains it quite nicely here. It equates to $16,000 per household a year. So when Trump, let me just get to the point quickly here because we're going to do a market scan. When Trump cuts these regulations and he's making orders for, I believe he had a 10 out, 1 in thing. That is very bullish for SPY. That is very bullish. It is like a tax cut that boosts revenue. That's what regulatory relief is, especially when it's proper regulatory reform. Because you have a lot of overlapping regulations that do the exact same thing, but companies, financial institutions, construction companies. I know when I was living in the United States, bridges were a big thing because the regulatory burden for bridges to just build a bridge to get to, even if the government sold you the contract, yeah, you can build this bridge. The company had to go through a 7 year long, just federal, without the state, federal regulatory hassle that cost on average, like, I don't know, remember what it was back then, but it was billions and billions of dollars, and it took 7 years. And Trump's goal was to cut that down to 1 year and improve it. So that would be a good regulatory reform. It is very bullish because companies make more money, the US economy grows, wages go up, government revenue increases, yada, 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 yada. And the regulatory compliance enforcement cost also goes down, so expenditures go down for the US government. So yeah, this is bullish and this is probably going to strengthen the dollar a little bit. Dollar has been, yeah, it's been resistant at least. But I mean, the dollar has barely, it's not really moving anymore compared to how it usually is. So let's look at our pair. This one right here that I marked last week is forming and it is probably getting ready. Candle just closed. We're going to see what happens. It's probably ready tomorrow for a nice entry. So let's look for some other ones. Here we do have a closed candle for the on the 12-hour. Very interesting on that. We're going to mark that and discuss that later on. We don't want more cross pairs. So I'm gonna take past the AUDs. And then let's look with damn. Let's look past the other pairs. Let me just drink some coffee, yeah? You can't do, I see what you're thinking, but the 200 MA invalidates it. Okay. So SR range has finally been developed here. You can see there's strong inflation in the SI areas that have no reason to be that thick. Like at all. You want smaller width on them, especially when the range isn't that huge, or else you're going to struggle with entries. It could be forming right here. Do you see that range? Because that's a closed candle now, and this is the newest info. So that's interesting. Let's see how it closed. Probably not. I wouldn't trust that yet. I could, but I wouldn't trust that yet. I'll mark it though. All right, let's keep moving. Look is oh. Garbage. Trash. Okay. So gold is still on that dying trend. We gotta adjust here. There we go. It opens at midnight. So this candle is closed. But no, I don't like the current gold market. I don't want to do anything for it yet. Okay, so let's pull up the potentials we have. Let's scrutinize them. Let's talk about them. Let's see what go on with it, yeah? So here we see a potential CR that could be forming. We got to see what this candle does though. You can review it on the 12-hour as well. If it just dumps or if it goes straight up, you have development. If it goes down, you can't do anything with that development because there's no valid CR for that. If it closes like optimally as an indecision candle, it means we have a new range form. You can go in for a CR on that. This one is ranging in for a CR real close, so it's been developing for a while now, very nicely as well. And very nice reactions to the range. This one trade I'm very interested in. And as for AUD CAD, this is a valid CR entry right now. Your CT with this one, so I want to recommend you to do it in forms of extensions. Your entry is going to look like this. I'm going to be entering this one myself as well. Not exactly like that, but somewhere in that range. And a 1.5. The rest you want to do through extensions. And if you don't know, or if you're just doing extensions on vibes, I would strongly recommend you to go and check out my video on how to do SRs. If not, just hop in the Discord and fucking tag me, bro. Be like, yo, bro, how do I do SRs? I'll be like, what's up, Chi? I got you. All right, so this is a very interesting setup right here. This one I'm going to enter myself. And that's all I've got for now. No need to make a market analysis any longer than it needs to be. So I'm going to end it right here. Thank you guys, and I'll see you for further developments tomorrow. Thank you, and bye-bye.